What is up? Welcome to Find Another Zero podcast with Jack, the man, producer extraordinaire, having a fucking day today, baby. Bart and Jack, owner, CEO of Project Power Gym. What this show is about, it's about you being able to get better and the truth of life with pure honesty, no bullshit, hard questions, honest answers, everything from business, entrepreneurship to philosophy, mindset, motivation. No, the point is it's real, and there's no punches pulled. Everyone that's on the show has a understanding that like what we're trying to do is we're trying to get better in whatever capacity that can be. So even if we disagree, the disagreement's purpose is to get better. But today we have a fun topic, and the topic today is Jack's frustration. Shit. We got pure, unadulterated anger today.
Oh man,
hidden behind a smile.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten angry in a while, I think.
So why are you so fucking angry, bro?
Well, okay, so anyway, I'll just chart the whole thing out today.
Okay. Wake
up at 6. I'm fucking feeling good. I got a good night's sleep. I got all my shit done that I needed to get done for today. That's going into tomorrow, like
producing stuff?
Yeah, editing. And uploading it and having it ready, which for the past probably 2 months straight, I've been up until 3, 4 o'clock every night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we talked about that in the last episode. We were like,
so,
I didn't structure my shit properly.
So tonight, boom, everything's cool. Like, I'm like, this is great. Wake up, go to breakfast with my buddy. We go over his business plan because he's a golf instructor. So he doesn't have any inkling as to how to start a business.
He's just starting golf instructing?
Yeah. So he's just starting out, and he works at a country club right now. And so then he's also, I've been trying to kind of, we've been talking about him getting clients outside of the golf course, because then he builds a little leverage for himself, and he can start, building his own book of business outside of that, if necessary. And so anyway, we get breakfast. Great, cool. He gets the runs, has to leave
during breakfast.
It's
that bad. Where did you go to
early.
fucking breakfast?
We went to Uncle Bill's Pancakes.
Yeah, you sure fucking did.
It was a great meal.
Oh my god!
Shout out to Mildred. She did great.
Mildred gave him the runs.
Yeah. So anyway, it's great. We get out of there, perfect timing. Like, I'm like, okay, because I love being time structured, right? Like, I wanted to be here at 8:45 today. I would have set up. We would have been ready by 9. We would have been good. Right now, it's like, what, 9:10? 9:10? 9:15? Even worse. So I wanted to get here at 8:45. So I left at 7:57. We finished breakfast. I get on the road at 8 o'clock. I go up this street called Kings Highway. There's blockage. It's backed up. So I pull a U-turn on like a main street. I say, fuck this. Go up another street. And then I didn't know this. I was going through a school zone. So all these kids are getting dropped off.
Oh, no.
So I get out of that, get up on the highway, and then, how traffic is in the morning. And anyway, I was just frustrated that I showed up late yesterday, and then I showed up late today. And I'm like, now that pattern is reoccurring, and maybe even subtly in your mind, you're recognizing this pattern happening even in these last 2 days. And so I'm like, now Bart is kind of associating me with being late, being a person that shows up late. I'm associating seeing myself as someone that is showing up late. And yeah, that really fucking pissed me off.
Sure. So what about that pisses you off?
That I think mainly it's that now you are, someone that I've been working with, someone that has taught me a lot about things, and like we're building a relationship, and we've built a relationship, and now I'm potentially compromising that relationship in a way. Even obviously you're not going to stop talking to me because I showed up late these last 2 days, but it's like these little pieces that start to...
It's a good topic to extrapolate from that, because I get it, and, you're a successful, driven guy, and you understand how details matter. And, through our conversations for the past, we've been doing this now for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, you understand that your actions are how you're defined, right? But what I think sometimes gets put too much is we take current actions and we set a title for ourselves for future actions. So your fear is that Bart will see yesterday's situation and today's situation and label you as an untimely person, right? In the past, I mean, we've been doing this for months. How many times have you been late?
Yeah, that I could count on one hand.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right? And I haven't brought that up to you as an issue, right? I haven't come to you and had a very stern conversation and say, hey, listen, if you're not taking this seriously, then maybe we shouldn't be working together, right? But you're afraid of the potential of that conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So that's where, like, I think brutal disconnection from reality and not taking things personally actually comes in our favor, and as well as patience. Because you were late today and you were late yesterday. As long as you're not late next time, and then you're not late the next time after that, and you're not late the next time after that, I'm only labeling you as what's currently happening. Now, I know most people they don't really do that very well. They, in order to save themselves potential problems, they just label you a certain way, and then they just, you're stuck in that label. I don't do that. I'm a very, like, what is happening right now is what is happening right now type of thing. And yes, if you're late 5, 6, 7 times, then I'm not going to quit doing this because you're going to be probably late in the future. It's just because of the disrespect of these 7 times. Mm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? And so if you can live in listen, you go back in your mind and go, what did I do to be late today? Like, should I have woken up at 4? Well, no, because you would have never predicted the fucking traffic. Okay? So, like, there are situations that come up that aren't to your liking to define yourself as. But don't define yourself as the situation. Right?
Yeah.
So if you come in and you go, hey, listen, Bart, this is very unlike me, and I think that the past, X months have shown that. I just want to sincerely apologize. I value your time, and I would never want to disrespect you in any way. It's over. You've validated the potential concerns that the client may have, but you've also not entitled yourself as a tardy person. Because guess what? The law of attraction is fucking real, and how you vibrate is fucking real. So just as you got frustrated for being late and the potential of my perception of you, then you got angry, right? You elevated that next level to emotion.
Yeah.
And then you had a little hiccup with the audio machine.
Yeah.
Only because you were so unfocused, because you were so into your anger and into your frustration that a real simple little button passed you by.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Truth.
And that's where the spiral for a lot of people comes from, is they don't like what they just did or decision they just made or what just happened. Maybe it was out of their control. Maybe whatever. And they just immediately title themselves as that. And then they work hard to not be that title when they aren't that title. But guess what? Working extra to disprove something that's not even fucking true,
right,
just causes you way more problems. So, for example, I'll use a relationship example. Very many times, I think, as you mature through your ages and relationships, the first couple of relationships that someone has when they're young, it's a very needy process. I want to talk to you all day, every day. I want to be with you all day, every day. I want all your attention all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And then somewhere along the way, those relationships don't work because one of the two parties is like, that's too much, right? So then you label yourself as needy. You label yourself as relationships don't work for me because I'm too needy. And then you try to solve future relationships by actively trying not to be that. So then you make up these fucking rules and stories where it's like, don't talk to them for 3 days after you see them.
Right.
And all these games that people
play. Wait an hour to text them back.
Yeah, leave them on red, or don't preview the message and don't respond to the message so that they don't see that you read it. All these fucking things, right? But that just causes you more problems because that's acting. That's just acting. You're just acting. You're not living. You're not actually being yourself. You're actively trying not to be what you think you might be, which is all bullshit. So if you have a certain amount of attention that you require, you have 2 options. Option A is to act on that need, and anybody who doesn't fit that need probably fizzles out pretty quickly, right? Which is a filter. Mm-hmm. Or why do you need how much you think you need? and then try to analyze that and try to figure out what it is that you're trying to solve indirectly. But don't label yourself as needy, because you're going to then counteract something that may not be true, right? You might be untrusting, right? So if you don't trust the person, you want to be around them all the time, because when they're not around you, you don't trust what they're doing or talking or saying or thinking, right? And I think that has a lot to do with just, again, you know, one of my very, very, very best of friends, he has a little boy. He just turned 7 this weekend, and they had a half day on Friday for spring break. And so he asks his son, like, what did you guys do today? He goes, well, we went to the gym and we watched a movie. Oh, okay. What movie did you watch? It was about how do you know if you have ADD? That's a 7-year-old. And if you've ever read What Makes You ADD, it is every 7-year-old boy ever born. Every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoys activity, likes climbing, can't sit around very long.
Sit around, wants to talk, wants to socialize.
Needs to touch, needs to climb, needs to jump, needs to run. So this little 7-year-old boy just self-labeled himself as ADD. Daddy, I think I have ADD. He's like, what the fuck?
That's interesting.
Why?
Let's go get some medication.
Well, that's step 2. Right. Step 1 is to think you have a fucking abnormal issue.
Right.
So, I haven't heard this up until recently. They label this stuff as mental disorders. Like, ADD is a mental disorder. So you tell me, if I tell you have a mental disorder, how do you feel about yourself?
Fuck off.
Right? Yeah. Not only is it it sounds grave, but the second part of that is, it sounds like it's something I can't control.
Yep. It
sounds like something it's like being told you were born with a third leg.
This is what you and Travis were talking about.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So if you tell me, Bart, you have this condition where you grow a third leg, and there's just a third leg on my body, that's not something I can control. That's not something I can do anything about. I have to run around life with a third leg, right? But ADD and shit is not like that. You can function with it. I don't know, man. It's a macrocosm of what we do microcosm on a day-to-day life. When you call yourself OCD, when you call yourself needy, when you call yourself aggressive or anger, or whatever we call ourselves, we take a probability of action and then we just create a fucking prison and say, this is just what I am and who I am. And then you subconsciously reenact to fit the fucking role. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Right?
100%.
Isn't that not true?
I see it all. I see it. I've got friends who think they're alcoholics because they've been around people that have been telling them, hey, man,
you've got a problem.
They start to over and over, oh, I'm an alcoholic, oh, I'm an alcoholic, oh, I'm an alcoholic, over and over, until now they believe it, when before they weren't. They just drank a lot on the weekends. It's it's the placebo effect, right?
I just don't understand why there's such a need to title everything.
Right.
I'm not hip to probably 80% of what's out there for real in terms of titling, but I hear constantly, especially the younger generations, having a title for things that I used to think were just actions.
Right. You've probably seen a shift in these titles coming for things that your actions control, whereas before,
yes,
you've probably seen that slowly shift.
Microaggressions and
right.
all these titles for things. It's no, it's just being a dick. That's not a microaggression. It's, and then from there stems, oh, he has this type of disorder where he preemptively microaggressions and yeah, but that's saying he can't control it. You can control being a dick. We talked about it on yesterday's fucking episode. Yep. Everyone has those negative thoughts. You don't have a condition because you have negative thoughts. Yeah. You don't have a condition because you want to go climb the tree. It's not a condition. It's not a condition. It's some people just give in to thoughts and some people don't. Well, isn't that a condition if you can give in or not? No, it's practice. It's just practice. Just like everything else, I had to practice not giving in to my thoughts. That's it. And some people don't practice. and just say they have a predisposition to not being able to control it.
So these titles are a scapegoat
Absolutely.
from doing the hard thing.
It always has been.
Right.
And that's why they're so popular, is because it transfers responsibility to nature. Oh, I was just born this way. Like, yeah, no shit. Everyone's born that way, bro. All of us. We're all in the exact same fucking boat. And that boat is that everyone's a little bit different. And no one's the fucking same. Everyone has problems with one thing or another. We may not all have problems with the same thing, but we all have problems with something, which makes us all the same, differently. But that all means that we're still all trying to be the same together. So although you may have a trouble with that and I don't, I have trouble with this and you don't.
Which originates from the same place in your brain where, whether it's impulse control or whatever it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But the bottom line is, as a society, we all control our conditions to all live the same way. You don't get a scapegoat just because you think it's harder for you to do this than it is to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's that fucking special. Like, this will probably be unpopular, but if I'm being inclusive, right? I have a buddy who's in a wheelchair who works out here, right? Everybody acts differently when someone has a condition you can see. Mm-hmm. And they treat them differently. And everyone's talking about inclusion and wanting to be the same, and we should treat everybody the same. But what we're really doing is we're taking conditions and putting those people on pedestals and somehow treating them better or trying to treat them better than everybody else. I give my buddy the same shit I give everybody else. I make things harder for him. I play jokes. Like, he can't wheel himself in somewhere, and I just go, sucks to be you, bro, and I fucking walk away. Because it's the same shit I would do if someone was trying to jump over a thing. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you're my bro, and whether you're in a wheelchair or not, I'm gonna be a dick because it's funny. You know? Yeah. And then you feel normal.
And he feels right.
He prefers 100%. That, right? So if someone's out there with a condition and they go, I need you to treat me differently because I have a condition, then you go, you don't have a condition, you have an attention need.
Yes. I think then that's what I think, and I feel like an old head saying this, but like social media has so perpetuated that in the sense of all of these kids are seeing, oh, this person's getting attention for not what they've overcome, but just the condition that they have.
Yeah.
What can I figure out a way to have my own? Well, I grew up in a good neighborhood and a good house and a good household. Well, anxiety, like I could have anxiety now.
Yes.
Or depression. Like now I can title myself with that, and now I'm part
fighting
of the
something.
in-group.
I'm fighting
I have a cause
something.
now.
I have a yeah. I mean, oh man, I can't remember if I was listening to I think it was a Rogan guest, or I can't remember, but he was basically acknowledging the fact that like there's two ways of garnering value. Right. And the one way is to actually go out and do something valuable, which requires action. But either way, it requires perseverance through, adversity. So you can actually go out and do adversity, or you can scapegoat one and that no one can see and say, well, it's hard for me because of this reason. But see, like, this is where I don't understand of how we've fallen into this so much is because I just mentioned it. Like, we all have something that we're fighting. Like, every single person has something that they're fighting. So, like, why put some on pedestals and others not? Like, why are we giving, like, when I hear a sob story, I go, man, that's really hard for that person. I can acknowledge that that's hard for that person. That's their journey. But I too have a journey. And that person has a journey. And that person has a journey. Have you ever met someone who doesn't have some fucked up story to talk about? Like, so why is there so much special attention? Like, what are we making up for? What are we trying to equate? By being all fucked up, we're equal.
Right.
There's more fucked up and less fucked up, so we have to...
That's what the public sentiment would be, 100%.
We have to acknowledge those who have it tougher. But aren't we, through that toughness, all just trying to acquire the same things, which is the normal shit that we... a house and a car and a job and a spouse and a... You know what I'm saying?
There's it's like so these people who are deciding this are false god, like creating themselves as false gods almost, in the sense of I get to decide who has it worse than the others.
Yeah.
Right? Even though, like what you're saying, we all have things that are fucked up. No, but this person with this demographic or so on and so forth,
they have it more.
I get to
fucked up.
choose that they have it more fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, if if the game is who has it worse, like that's not a game I want to win.
It's an infinite game.
It's not all. Yeah, it's an infinite game that only are only losers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if the game was, I succeeded and here's how fucked up my story is different than this is just how fucked up I am.
Yep.
Because they don't have the second part of that equation.
Yep.
They're saying I can't get to the second part of the equation because of how fucked up things are. And it's like, that's not true. Like every time I've ever, and dude, I grew up a victim. In my own mind, I gained value from victimhood. And I am being as transparent about that as possible. I'm an only child. My parents hated each other. Like I felt sorry for myself. I mean, I'm 36 now, and I'm probably say at least half my life, I probably felt really sorry for myself. Right? And no matter how much validation I got for how tough things were for me, it never made anything better. I don't care how many people put their arm around my shoulder. I don't care how many people said that my situation was worse than theirs. I don't care how many people told me to my face, wow, you must be really strong to have gotten through that. Not one of those fucking times that I feel better about my situation. The only thing that made me feel better about my situation is to change my situation. That's it. It's the only thing. And it never was anybody making it easier for me that changed my situation. Never. The only thing that made me feel better about it is when my surroundings actually changed. When I did something positive despite my challenges, and all of a sudden everything started getting better. And now I have a cool story with a crazy background.
And that's so easy to comprehend. Why is like where's the where are people missing out on that?
Because it requires work. Because it requires action. It requires the risk of going a direction that you don't know is going to result in a positive outcome. Because we're in the age of knowing. If we don't know something, people don't try. Like, for example, we gave that example of the clerk with his headphones in at Target, right? He's restocking shelves, and you ask him where something is. And their answer, 90% of the time to me, is, I think that's aisle 12. But they don't know. And because they don't know, they don't walk to aisle 12 to check. They just say, I think it's aisle 12. You go check. Because unless they know for a fact, they don't want to take action. They don't want to waste their time. Everyone's so worried about wasting their time.
You know what's so interesting? So one of the podcasts that I do is a ex-police podcast, and it's a bunch of cops that get around and they talk and they bring on different cops and DA agents and so on and so forth.
That's awesome.
To shine the brighter light on
Love
what these
that.
people are doing. It's awesome. But
what's it called?
It's called The Brighter Side of Blue.
Brighter Side of Blue.
Yep.
Dope.
Yep. And we put a bunch of shorts out, and they get a lot of views. And there's so many comments of, like, a DEA agent. Well, they tried getting rid of drugs. Look how successful that was. This guy wasted his life, or so on and so forth. And it's like, so what the fuck? Like, in your mindset, you're saying just don't even try let that shit run fucking rampant.
That's right. That's right. As if that 10 kilos of coke he took off the street, you go, oh, there's still going to be cocaine out there. Yeah, but that cocaine isn't going into that person's nose because that's now in a lockup. So at least some life was changed by this being put away. You know what I'm saying? And like people, like purpose is what drives humanity, bro. So there is no time wasting. Like there is no...
Right.
Yeah.
If there's purpose in all of your actions...
But let me, because immediately my brain's like, you sit around and watch TV all day. Is that a waste of time?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it out of maybe habitually, if you're like, okay, I have fucking busted my ass. This is the time that I've designated to relax. Then it's serving a purpose.
What if you do it for a week straight?
Yeah, then you're starting to lie to yourself.
I don't know, because we don't know the goal of that person.
Sure.
So like that's my point is like, I don't put these blanket statements out there because I don't get to decide what makes people successful or not. I don't get to decide what makes you, right? Because let me ask you this. I don't have a lot of time to relax. Okay? Yeah. I don't. And I anytime I do get a chance to, it feels really good because of how much work I've done, right? But what if I wanted to know what it's like to relax for 30 days straight? And I watched TV and did nothing but lay on my couch for 30 days straight. At the end of which, I learned what it's like to relax for 30 days straight. And maybe for the rest of my life, I'll never be compelled to do that again. Do you see what I'm saying? It's never a waste of time. It's only a lesson learned. Right? So if you waste 50 years of your life, and what I mean by waste, I mean you had things you wanted to go experience, but you chose not to because you didn't know it was going to happen, or you didn't know how to do it, or you didn't know if it was going to work. And instead of doing what you wanted to do, you stayed in your basement and watched TV all the fucking time. The only thing you wasted was your potential.
Yeah.
Because you yourself acknowledged that there was more that you wanted, but you decided against it for self-preservation, which kills you, which is the irony of life.
Yeah.
Does that make so? That's where I'm coming from with all this, is like there is no waste. So let's say I attempted all this and it's only 2 years in. Who knows what happens year 3, year 4, year 5? Let's say year 3.5, it all just falls flat on its face and it's over. And I have to fold up shop. I sell all the equipment and then I am on to the next thing, right? Should I have never done this? Were there not experiences that I had that will be held on to for the rest of my life?
No, guaranteed.
Relationships made, things, character-driven learning experiences. Like, and it's not a waste. So even if you don't know how it's going to happen, like, go find out. And if it, quote-unquote, doesn't work, it did work. You learned that it doesn't work. That's it working. You know, and that's where we're at, dude. And that's why victimhood and victimization of self is so rampant, is because people are associating value to very specific things, and they haven't stepped back far enough to realize that the experience of life is the gift, not the perfection. Or, right, if I don't have a six-pack, then I'm not lifting weights purposefully.
Yeah.
Right? If I don't have $1 million, then my business isn't purposeful. Like, that's not true. So, however good you feel about yourself because you think you're the biggest victim, I promise you that's 1/1,000,000th of how good you feel when you actually fucking do something.
Oh, my God.
Regardless.
Unequivocally. Yeah.
And it took me being by myself for those 3 years in college to learn that. Because again, I was a victim. I'm lonely. I put myself in a fucking room by myself. And yet my thoughts were still like, well, no one's reaching out to hang out with me. And it's because I say no to every time someone fucking asks me to hang out. But yet the thoughts were still there. I made my environment so that I felt like a victim. I put myself in those scenarios.
That's fascinating.
Yes.
So at the gym I've been going to, it's kind of not a shithole, but all this fuck. I mean, yeah, to these standards, it's a shithole.
Thank you.
And the weights aren't where they're supposed to be. So anytime I'm at a rack or whatever, and if the weights now, I just fucking
you fix
the whole thing.
Okay.
And then there's a couple of people that I work out with. One of them's kind of picking up and getting it. The other's like, what the fuck? Like, you're just going to get fucking messed up anyway. And it's like, I know that, but
I'm not going to fuck it up.
But I'm not going to do that. It's either you set the standard or you follow the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're a slave to the standard one way or the other.
That's right.
And I'm going to pick the former. Like, so I guess to tie it all together, but in finding purpose and everything, I don't have that mindset. I'm not worried about becoming one of those people that is saying, well, what the fuck's the purpose of stopping these drugs, or what's the purpose of moving these ways? It's like, there's meaning in everything I do. Like, I don't feel a gap in my life of finding meaning right now.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, if you think about like the grand scheme, like this is why a lot of philosophers like fucking killed themselves, is because if you really back it out, dude, nothing matters. Like, legitimately, nothing matters. Nothing you do matters. Think about how many fucking centuries of humanity there's been and how many names we remember. So few.
Yeah.
And there's people who conquered the world, and we remember their name, but we don't know the number 2's name.
Yeah.
The literal right-hand man of that motherfucker,
Right.
I can't name.
Right.
I know Genghis Khan's name. What was his number 2 guy? That dude devoted his life to conquering the world, and he did it. And we don't know his fucking name. You're going to remember my name? You're not going to remember my name. My name's not going to be remembered that long from now. But if you're doing it for just that reason, well, then you're not really doing it. Like, you think Genghis Khan did it so that we would remember his name for the textbooks? I don't know why the fuck he did. I don't know nothing about the subject. But my point is like you can't be worried about, anything other than doing something. You have to just keep doing something because that's what life is. It's doing something. And if you don't do anything, it doesn't matter how valuable you think that you are or you're not. Like, it won't matter to you because you know you're not doing anything. I mean, even when you play video games, like, there's gamers now, because back in the day when I was growing up, like, the big thing was like, you're not going to make any money playing video games. Yeah. That has obviously changed. And it's like the most lucrative fucking thing. Now, to behold, like, the ratio of people who play video games versus who make money playing video games is the most skewed ratio out of any sports. But you can make a living with video games now, granted. But unless you create like some sort of achievement playing that game, you don't feel good playing it.
Right.
Just like when you go to practice and you practice soccer, like, if you feel good because you think you're getting better at soccer. But until you have the tournament that you win or the fucking game that you win or that you're in personal involvement with a victory, makes you feel better about your time spent on the subject. But the truth of the matter is you going to practice made that event happen. So taking the pressure off of the game, off of the tournament, off of the championship, and putting it back onto just the purpose of I do things. And when I do things, this is how I do them. And you can attack anything. Because you said, your standards here with the weights. And I don't give a fuck if this was a tire store.
Right.
My tire store would have all the names in the exact same. You see what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
I don't care. Because whatever it is that I do it in a certain purpose. And then I gain the experience from that situation. And that's what I call my life. And so, like, that's meaningful. That's impactful. That's me remembering a waiting room situation because, I fucking organized the little magazines and shit. And, like, I made someone's day next to me because I was kind and I had a conversation with them. Is that going to change my life? No. But my purpose kept straight in that situation. I came with a purpose. You know what I mean? And that's all you have. That's all we have. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's no different than, like, have you ever heard if you're hanging out with someone for the first time, like, go to a restaurant and see how they treat the waiter, right? That's how I think about this. Because that person that you're sitting down with, I'm sure if you're someone they're trying to impress, they're going to be nice to you and they're going to say all the nice things and be charming and this and that. But if they're not trying to impress the waiter, they're going to be a dick and short and blah, blah, blah. That's the type of person that lives without purpose. And you can argue, like, well, no, they're purpose driven. Like, when they find their opportunities, they try to seize them. But I argue that you can't turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah.
It is not something you can manipulate like that. It's either that's what you do or you're lying to yourself and thus the world, which is nature, which is you, which is you're lying to yourself. So, like, for those who don't take action because they don't know it's going to work or they don't know how it's going to work, it's not the point. The point is to just take action, right? And if you're taking action and it's all wrong, and then there's a guy next to you that comes along the way and says you're doing that all wrong, my very first question is, have you done this before?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, I go, great, teach me.
Yep.
Awesome. There's relatability. There's respect because I'm trying. But if he says, I've never done it before, I just watched a movie, I don't really want to hear what you have to say because I'm doing and you're not. And that's it.
Find another zero.
Find another zero, dude. It keeps coming back to that.
Yeah, yeah. How many people do you think, if they all lived that way without having to do anything else other than doing everything purposeful would have depression, would have anxiety. What do you think? Do you think? I mean, virtually all of it would go away.
I think the percentage of people who have a neurological issue, like they physically have dendrites that are fucked up,
Right.
is so small comparatively to the people who just feel sad.
Yes.
So, like, dude, I mean, it's proven. It's already been proven. You go to Ghana, you go to Africa, you go to any of these countries that don't have the best infrastructures or governments, and these people are legitimately trying to survive. Bro, they're so action-based
Yeah.
that they don't, they go, I don't have time to be sad about things, you know? And a lot of people I've heard, you know, you will use the argument where like they are sad people. They're just, you know, having to survive. So that's why they can't focus on how sad they are. But I'm like, did you just hear what you said?
Man.
You can't focus on how sad you are? Wouldn't that make you not sad? You know what I mean? Like
Yep. It's craziness.
It is craziness, but we can't accept that. Why? Because then it's your fault. It's your responsibility. Maybe it's not your fault you're sad, but it's your responsibility to stay sad.
Yep.
You know, it's not that easy. And listen, I'm not saying that I've never felt it. I have felt hella fucking depressed. Again, I alienated myself from the world. You don't think I was depressed? I hung out with no one, declined every invite to hang out with people on purpose, then felt sorry for myself. Yeah. I was depressed. But what was I depressed about? About being depressed. I don't know why. I was uncomfortable in large group situations. I didn't think I was very good with the ladies, so I didn't really feel good going out to bars and picking up chicks. Like, I didn't think very highly of myself at all. I did not. So again, we talked about it. The most comfortable thing I could possibly think of is to take away any potential uncomfortable situation potential. And so that's what I did. I went to the gym, I went to work, and I did nothing. I did nothing else. And let me tell you, doing that taught me that that's not the fucking way. Because when you can be honest with yourself and you say, okay, if I just took away all the things that made me sad, okay, because at that time, what made me sad? People making fun of me, people not including me, people abandoning me, right? People made me sad, so I just eliminated all fucking people. Guess what? I was still sad. So I was like, okay, if I'm still sad and I took away all the sad things, then it's me. It's not the surroundings. Okay, so why am I sad? Well, why am I sad is because I have no purpose. I'm not doing anything. Then at work, I became a little bit of something because I tried at work a little bit. And then I got recognized. This is S2, and I got recognized for my trying. Why I tried? I don't know. I don't know why I started trying there. Probably because it had to do with working out, and I just really liked working out. Because again, we talked about last episode, I had a lot of sadness. I had a lot of energy in me. I had no way of it. I wasn't having sex. I wasn't having fun with people. I wasn't going on hikes. I had no physical outlet except for the gym. And the gym is probably what kept me sane and from a very dark place because I was depressed. So the gym was my physical outlet that I was 4-hour workouts, man. So then I went to work at a place that had to do with the gym. And then, I shared a little bit of that with people. And then I got some recognition for it. And then boom, purpose in the gym, purpose at work. And then as I became more intentional with that taught me that doing things make you feel better.
Yeah.
It's such a basic fucking concept. But dude, like we're doing less and less things, man. Less and less and less. So, back to our circle question of how are we letting victimhood run so rampant? It's because children aren't fucking running around anymore. They're not doing things. There's so much less stuff done nowadays. There's more digital stuff watched, consumed, absorbed, but so much less things get done. And because of that, purpose just fucking goes out the wayside. If your purpose is to create digital content and that's all you're doing, bro, like that is so quickly turned over. Like, you can spend all this time, like Mr. Beast, the guy who basically conquered YouTube. Like, this guy figured it out, right? Yeah. So that dude spends millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars on a 10-minute video for YouTube. And he has to make another one within 5 fucking days.
It has to be bigger and better. Yeah.
That's the game that we're going to play. That's the level that we have to try to get to give ourselves purpose. But guess what? When you watch a Mr. Beast video, what are those fucking dudes doing?
Doing shit.
A bunch of shit. So he's doing a bunch of stuff. You're sitting there at home watching a fucking school bus be dropped on a tank, who then shoots the tank into the fucking house so it explodes. Like, we're observing this. He's doing it. He's figuring it out. He's putting his hands on the bus. Like, he's doing all those things. So the guy's got purpose. Everyone watching has no fucking purpose. They're not doing anything. Doers are the ones that are getting everything. And we're sitting around watching the doers and going, I don't feel good about myself. Well, no fucking shit. You're not doing anything. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's just a big roundabout way of just saying, go fucking do something.
Do shit.
Do shit, man.
Find another zero.
Find another zero. Find another zero. For those that you don't know what the fuck that means, that means when you start doing something that you've never done before, you have 0% efficiency, proficiency. You don't know what you're doing. It feels bad to do. You feel embarrassed. You feel bad about yourself. You see everybody else doing better than you. You're at 0 out of 100. You progress your way. Once you hit 50, it's half feel good, half feel like an idiot. And then you get to 75 and you go, fuck yeah, dude, I am pretty darn good at this. Then you get to 90 and you go, I'm better than most people. And people stay there for the rest of their fucking lives with the very first thing that they felt that way about. And then you never fucking progress ever again because you're too scared to go find another zero. You're too scared to go find something you suck at. And dude, I don't know how we keep getting back to that root and foundation. I guess it's...
that's funny.
Isn't that, dude? I don't try at all.
I know.
Not one time.
I know.
And it just keeps fucking coming back to that. Keep finding something you're not good at and keep working at it.
Well, they made a book about that.
What was that?
It's called the Bible.
Oh. Oh.
Or the Quran.
Yeah.
Or the Torah.
Yeah.
It's all those.
I have never read it. So is that the premise of the whole story?
Of the New Testament of Jesus. That's it. Well, that's how, at least how I interpret it, is he dies on the cross and then and then you're reborn.
Find another zero.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy, dude. But that's just simple life. We overcomplicate that simple ass premise.
Yeah.
You know? So, you feel better?
Yeah, I feel better. Thanks, man.
We won't feel better until you go work out.
Yeah.
Because you got all that physical anger still inside you.
Yeah, that's right. I'm working out hard tonight. I can promise you that much.
Yeah, you took last week off. Yesterday was kind of a half-ass workout. Yeah. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. Physical activity is the only way to express this shit. So, have a good workout.
Don't be a pussy.
Don't be a pussy. Go do something. Peace.